In the Spanish Canary Islands, more than 500,000 people live on the volcanic island of Tenerife. Yet, due to the relative abundance of dark black lava flows, it is quite easy to see that this island is still volcanically active. And, while recent eruptions have largely only had minor explosive components to them, this has not always been the case. For proof that the island has produced catastrophically large eruptions on several occasions during the last 1 million years, all you need to do is look at the center of the island, south of the Mount Teide peak, which is sometimes covered by snow. There, a massive cliff face towers by occasionally more than 400 meters or 1,312 feet above a large depression in the ground, which, measuring 15.5 kilometers or 9.6 miles across, is known as the Caldera. This caldera is longer than several other large and better-known calderas such as the Crater Lake caldera in the U.S. state of Oregon, which measures 10 kilometers long and formed during a catastrophic eruption when a volcano with a summit 3,700 meters or 12,000 feet above sea level almost completely collapsed, sending superheated pyroclastic flows to burn the landscape to a distance of up to 70 kilometers or 43 miles from the volcano. This eruption of Crater Lake was assigned a volcanic explosivity index of a 7, with the eruption ejecting 120 cubic kilometers of volcanic rock. With this in mind, did the Teide Volcano produce an eruption of the same size given its even larger caldera? The answer to this question is no. Instead, in the last 1 million years, the Teide Volcano has produced 10 eruptions larger than the 1980 eruption of Mount Saint Helens, of which 7 were about an order of magnitude larger than the 1980 eruption, registering in with a volcanic explosivity index rating of a 6. While these eruptions all occurred long before humans ever settled on the island, they are considered geologically recent due to the lengthy nature of geologic timescales, especially since they all occurred during the most recent 0.1% of Earth's total geologic history. The largest of these eruptions was also the last caldera-forming eruption to occur on the island, as 183,500 years ago a catastrophic eruption ejected 46 cubic kilometers of volcanic rock, being slightly smaller than the 1883 eruption of Krakatoa. These eruptions progressively widened and deepened the existing caldera through multiple events rather than a single large eruption. During the last 700,000 years, eruptions with a volcanic explosivity index of a 5 or a 6 have occurred at the Teide volcanic complex at intervals of between 3,750 and 253,000 years apart. At the time of the last major explosive eruption 183,500 years ago, there was likely already a lava dome complex volcano similar in appearance, albeit much thicker than the present lava lobes within the central caldera. Eruptions from this complex became increasingly explosive until something triggered a massive release in pressure. As a single vent erupted a large volume of molten rock, a plume of ash and associated Plinian eruption column rose more than 45 kilometers into the atmosphere. The eruption then propagated, occurring at other vents along a chain of activity. Part of the eruption column then collapsed downwards, producing voluminous pyroclastic flows which swept across much of the island. A decent chunk of this was funneled into a northeast direction, as this represented a breached section of the already present caldera via an already existing collapse scar. By the time the eruption had ended, pyroclastic flows might have traveled up to 30 kilometers distant, including into the ocean, and some areas were buried by up to 15 meters or 49 feet thick of volcanic rock. Although it has been 183,500 years since the last major explosive eruption of Teide, this has no implications towards whether the volcano will produce another major explosive eruption at some point in the future, or, if it does, how much longer it will be in the future before such an eruption occurs. The vast majority of future eruptions from the Teide volcano will most likely continue to only be moderately explosive and several orders of magnitude smaller than a VEI 5 or 6 eruption. Also, in my opinion, it appears that at the present, the Teide volcano is physically incapable of producing any VEI 5, 6, or larger explosive eruptions. Thus, if you live on Tenerife Island, you should not worry about an eruption with a volcanic explosivity index of a 5 or larger occurring anytime soon. Thanks for watching. If you would like to request a specific topic, please leave a comment below. Additionally, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members on YouTube.